What is going on, guys? Today, me and Six Pals are looking at a very, very special YouTube channel. This is the channel of one TG, or the Thundergod, as he likes to call himself. All right, I don't know who he is. I think he has bad takes, and we just want to
Make fun of him.
We're gonna stir the pot. We're gonna make fun of him, all right? Debunking Naruto databook fallacies. All right, are you ready? Are you ready, Pals? This is an experience.
Yeah. Thundergod, before we start, I want to say we don't have any problem with you, unless you say something outrageously stupid. But yeah, I'm ready.
You're welcome to come, discuss or debate with either of us, actually. Yeah, you know, we really have to punch up for clout. Because, you know, I've only got, 500 subscribers. TG, he's got 740.
I've only got 470, so...
Yeah, we're lagging. Paz, listen to this wondrous intro.
What's going on, guys?
3 seconds of complete silence. Complete silence. Okay, if you don't know, in my videos where I'm not introing immediately, I clap when there's something about to go on, and I do that so that I get a mic spike, and then I can find that in my editing software. This is just someone being lazy.
Guys, TG or Thundergod here. I don't know why I did
Paz?
Okay.
TG
Energetic.
or Thundergod here.
go with the syllables there. But
Energetic.
sound it out. You know how it is. But essentially, today I wanted to kind of tackle some of the bigger databook fallacies that people are...
Okay, this is what drives me crazy. Databook fallacies.
What are big databook fallacies?
Okay, let's look up what a fallacy is, Paz. Fallacy, a mistaken belief. Okay, especially one based on an unsound argument.
In logic, a failure in reasoning which renders an argument invalid.
This is what we use in the community. This is what we use in the community, right?
Yes.
Faulty reasoning, misleading or unsound argument, or specifically a failure in reasoning which renders an argument invalid, right? This is a philosophical
fallacy. Not to be confused with your stance being invalid.
Those are two different
argument that leads to the conclusion.
The conclusion can be valid without the argument being valid, but without a valid argument, you have no reason to state your conclusion. This belief, this definition of mistaken belief, is what I'm hoping he's functioning under, or else databook fallacies is going to be like an anti-Tachi level, foot and mouth. All right, let's keep going.
up because I'm starting to talk about them on TikTok, and people are trying to.
Oh, he's TikTok debater. He's TikTok debater. Okay.
Debunk them. Which you can't because they're canon, along with the novelizations and whatnot, which are canon to the timeline.
No, they're not. Depending on what timeline, he said the novelizations are canon. A novelization, like the last novelization and the Boruto movie novelization, neither are canon.
Novelizations in specific aren't canon.
Yeah,
there's novels, and then there is a novelization.
Yes, the novelizations of movies, which is the only time you should use the word novelization, are not canon. Okay, let's keep going.
So, I just want to tackle some of these points, talk about them, whatever. So, starting off, the first and biggest one real quick is the Kakashi's omnipotent one. And this is so stupid because omnipotence has multiple...
This is a mistranslation. Pause it now.
It is a mistranslation.
This is a mistranslation.
Isn't this the third
Databook 3
databook?
is officially translated in English, yes. It's the only one officially translated in English. And... the statement of Kakashi being omnipotent is not there. But our guy Thundergod was about to bring up, he's right. Omnipotent has different meanings.
I will be leaving the entirety of Databook 3. Is this it? No, it's not. Anyways, I'll find a link.
I'll send you the link to it.
Yeah, I'll find a link for Databook 3. I will be leaving the entirety of the officially translated version of Databook 3 in the comment section or in the description of the video. Let's see what he has to say though.
Unlimited power, godlyhood, or it can just mean very great power. And it's okay, are you going to sit here and try and tell me you don't know which one is being applied to the statement? It's no, don't be, the way some of the people try and debunk the databooks is ridiculous. It means great power.
Okay, even though this is a mistranslation, this is a good argument. He's arguing that the definition used, right, or the definition people interpret it as, is incorrect. Yeah. I agree. Good job.
Spencer, I think, just based on the first thing he says in this video, the way he's using fallacies is a mistaken belief.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I was hoping it was.
Okay.
Moving on from that, there is, the Tamari one, which you could look at this two ways. You could look at it as a bit of hyper...
I am informed on this specific databook mistranslation, so I'm going to tell you what this actually is supposed to say afterwards.
hyperbole, or it actually, I have read up that there was a translation error to where it's shocking the world with her power, or like blowing.
World and universe share the same character in Japan. Depends on which one, but this is not the correct. Universe isn't even okay. This is supposed to say the fierce tornado that blows the world away. It's not even hyperbolic. It's just like a metaphor.
Everyone's just shocked at how strong she is. It's not that crazy.
Blowing the world away, as in like surprising them. So either or still applies. This one doesn't. Tamari's not universal. It's like, okay, yeah, that's like the big bold text. Pretty much the top of the data books with the bolded text and stuff like that will either like will sometimes hyperbolize the characters. But
his argument for it being a hyperbole is awful.
Universe, so that's not an acceptable.
Okay, one. He uses quotation marks instead of apology.
Yeah,
let's go over something with everyone. In calling an argument a hyperbole, or calling something a hyperbole, the way that most people go about that is using it a reductio ad absurdum argument, or a reduction to absurdity. What you should do in that instance is you should take this argument as far as the entailments will allow, and you prove why the entailments cannot be the case. This is how you debunk a statement and take it to be hyperbolic. He is not doing that here. This is a bad argument for why this is a hyperbolic statement.
Also, if you want to use reductio ad absurdum to like debunk an argument, you have to show why the absurdity like can't be the case.
Yes, otherwise you're just like, otherwise it's just a fallacious argument from absurdity.
Another popular one I see is Hebi Sasuke slapping the Akatsuki, and it's like, out of all of them,
his power exceeds even that of the Akatsuki. Name one Akatsuki member who is alive at the time of Databook 3 being published who can withstand Kirin.
Pain.
Do we have like solid scaling to like say Pain over Kirin? I don't believe so.
Yeah.
I've always just taken this as like.
Man, do I really want to get into that right now? But Pain is in this same databook stated to be invincible. If you want to argue that way.
All I'm saying is,
I've always taken this to mean that Sasuke has meets the requirements to enter the Akatsuki, because he should be stronger than people like Hidan.
He most definitely is.
At this point.
Yeah.
It just means like Sasuke's Biju level. That's it.
Which is fine.
And he also like
Four Tails Naruto
Akatsuki members.
Four Tails Naruto should be Biju level.
Yeah.
And then
Orochimaru should be Biju level by
Four
virtue of
Naruto.
being he believes Sasuke over Three Tails. But like Sasuke beats Datara beat Gaara's Biju level. Like
Datara's just confirmed Biju level by proxy of being the Akatsuki as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, there's nothing wrong with this statement.
I want to hear what he says about it.
This one's the weirdest because it's like, okay, Heavy Sasuke is Akatsuki level. Like, he's fought two of their members. He beat Datara.
Two? Itachi?
Datara and Itachi, yeah.
Don't try and debate that. He did beat Datara. Datara literally suicided because he couldn't beat Sasuke. And then he also fought Itachi. It's like, okay, Itachi was sick. Sasuke still fought very much so with that Itachi, impressing him and blowing away.
This Itachi's literally blind, but
yeah, Itachi's blind, holding back.
That Itachi's still like Akatsuki level, but like
fully counter Tsukiyomi and Madarazi.
This Itachi does like bully Orochimaru easily, so
he is Akatsuki level.
But
I'm not saying he would.
He's not trying on Sasuke,
Akatsuki, but he is able to contend with a lot of their members. So it's like, okay, I don't really see where
this is Databook 3, so it's official,
on
right?
That. Why that one's such a
Heavy Sasuke should be Databook 3.
Why that one's such a like contest? You know, it's just odd to me. It's really odd to me. And there's also, you'll hear things about the novelization. Like somebody will quote like Momoshiki being like star level because he like activated.
This novel right here, it's not canon.
Not canon.
It's not canon to the manga. This, people will use these as evidence for canon. One, these are completely untranslated. You couldn't tell me that it's like a canon novelization timeline. But
all these are a timeline. Like
they're
nothing
a timeline
about these at all is canon.
This is supposed to tell you in what time frame these take place. Chapter 700 being here doesn't even make sense.
Yes, it does.
Chapter 700 taking place before the last does not make sense.
Oh, I'm dumb. I'm so dumb. I just realized you said chapter 700. Yeah, you're right.
Even like the beginning of chapter 700. Now,
Yeah.
The rest of this volume being here is totally fine. These are all true. The Boruto novels are in order. I don't even know what this says. This is probably
That says 700. That's where 700 goes.
Oh, this is where 700 goes. So then the Mirai novel is right here. Novel 5, which is the new novel. Basically, these are just to like set things in place on a timeline. And here's what people need to understand. Just because the last movie novelization, just because chapter 700, right, is canon to the last movie novelization, does not mean the last movie novelization is canon to chapter 700. Canonicity does not have to be a two-way road. It doesn't have to go back and forth.
Yeah.
It can go in one direction.
Exactly. Like, you can write a fan manga that goes off the end of Naruto.
That doesn't mean
technically Naruto would be canon to your manga, but your manga wouldn't be canon to Naruto.
Yeah. Let's see what he says.
The synchron radiation with a dying star and whatever, and it's like basically you had to match it to blow it up, whatever. And people try to tell you that the novelizations aren't canon, but they are canon to the Boruto timeline. And
no, they're not. They're not canon to the Boruto manga. They're not canon to the Boruto anime. They're definitely not canon to the novelization for Boruto.
Is just a timeline.
The novelization for Boruto is directly contradictory to both the manga and the anime. There is no way you can make it fill. And the movie, yeah. There's no way you can make it fill. None.
The Naruto timeline, like, you know, the Shinden novels and whatnot. So essentially,
the Shinden novels are canon. These are canon. The Itachi novels.
These are canon, yeah.
Yeah. Now, whether this timeline is canon is
like, all of this is canon. It's just people trying to. They'll say you're cherry picking. However,
canon.
They're the ones cherry picking 4 or 5 like obvious examples of it not being true.
These are not canon to the anime. I should make that clear. These are canon to the manga.
Yeah.
The anime has their own rendition of both Itachi novels. This Shikamaru novel.
Pick 5 or 4.
The last is the canon to the anime, the movie, but not the novel. Kakashi Shinden has been adapted nowhere.
Hundreds of data book entries, and how they're consistently branded alongside the show. It's just
this is canon to nothing but the other novels.
Ridiculous. It's absolute. Just I can't even say it because people.
This one is its own OVA, and you shouldn't worry about it.
No, they're the ones cherry picking. They have 4 examples versus your hundreds of examples, and you could literally disprove.
This book, like, nearly confirms Gar is gay. It's really fucking funny.
All of their examples. So, no, the data are accurate.
Yeah.
You know, there's probably some more contestable fallacies that
This Akatsuki novel, people will say, is evidence that this timeline specifically is not in order. That is not true. This Akatsuki novel is actually a Sasuke novel. And it's Sasuke spending time with 2 kids who are orphaned because the Akatsuki killed their village.
People are going to bring up, but essentially those
it
are
also
ones that
downplays the hell out of the Akatsuki member. Like, this entire novel makes like a joke out of the Akatsuki.
I see a lot.
Yeah, that's the novel where someone breaks out of Tsukuyomi because they like love their brother.
There you go. That's the video. Hope you learned something.
This is not canon anything else.
Something that I sound like Seth. Get that shit out of here. I'm not Seth.
The movie novelization being canon to the Hida novels means nothing. Also, this isn't canon to the anime either.
Programmer. That man's too powerful. There you go.
What'd he say?
Learn something. Now I sound like Seth. Get that shit out of here. I'm not Seth the programmer. That man's too powerful.
We know you're not Seth the programmer.
There you go.
Seth the programmer knows how to make, like, an argument. I'm sorry, that was rude.
That's the vid. That was a little bit of a
Thundergod is
not really scripted. Just kind of want to talk about this because I've been seeing it on my TikTok a lot. And yeah, I'm gonna subscribe, guys.
No outro. Points off for that one, Thundergod. Okay.
Thundergod isn't, he's not dumb. I appreciate you.
I shouldn't do that, but like...
Buff guy.
What's he drinking?
No idea how much.
What's he drinking?
What's going on,
Not
guys?
gonna show us.
Why does he have a PC in the other side of his room?
Maybe it's an old build used for parts.
I see an AIO, 2 fans, and the motherboard tray seems to be empty. 2 more fans.
Yeah, it's probably an old build used for parts. He got some Naruto manga over here on the left.
He ain't even got all 72 volumes. Don't pay attention to him. Alright, Boro versus Delta. This is what I'm really here for. Check out my video in the corner.
No. Should we do a separate video on this one?
No. Then I don't feel like we're bullying him.
What's going on, guys? TG or Thundergod here, and today we are talking about...
He put a Thor toy up for himself.
I want to know who he says wins.
Before we start?
Yes.
No.
Go to the comments.
No. Code fight the manga, car ranking video. Delta claps. I haven't been keeping up with the Boruto manga.
The people that use Naruto getting hit by beans a debunk 100%. He dodged them twice and leaks over.
He liked this.
Boruto slow as fuck.
He thinks Boro wins. I'm putting my money on he thinks Boro wins. That's why I put this video up. All right.
Thundergod, if you think Boro wins, the remainder of this video
will be us
going
shitting
to
on
be
you.
well for you.
Yeah. Let's hear him for his arguments.
2 car members in terms of who's stronger, who's more hacks, and who would win if they fought.
Boro is stated to be more hacks. Inverse.
I'm going to say before it starts that Delta is both stronger and faster than Boro, and she's going to neg his regen with her eye beams.
This video is going to be code statement. That's it. He's going to take the code statement at face value, and he will completely dismiss any Delta feats. The code statement...
Naruto's holding back as well.
Yeah. The code statement and the Boru Kara both say that Code and Boro have abilities greater than Delta, not ability.
Yes.
That distinction is important, because that distinction is what tells us that it's talking about their hacks, not their statistics. Okay, let's continue.
Today we'll talk about this and more Boruto scaling in this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new here, and enjoy the video. So starting off, we actually do know everybody in the organization known as Kara is supposedly Otsutsuki.
No.
Yeah, this is a complete
Otsutsuki,
non-factor to the video.
Yeah, this is purely Sasuke's hypothesis based on nothing except for the fact that he looked into the memories of some random gang member who saw a Kara meeting once. This claim that Sasuke makes is
mean even in the end. All this would mean even in the end, if all the Kara members are Otsutsuki level, that the Otsutsuki can vary drastically in terms of power, because people like Boruto and base Kawaki can keep up with Boro.
This just means that like Boruto beats Toneri if you take it at this level.
Yeah.
Otsutsuki level powers, similar to Code and Boro's abilities, means that they have Renegade abilities. Basically, that's all Sasuke's saying.
Yeah. This can also mean, since he says there's like unknown individuals with this power, that he's just talking about Delta and Ishiki. They should be the only ones who like fit the like narrative scope of an Otsutsuki level person.
Level. However, this is a very vague statement. And
okay, he admits this. This statement also doesn't. We need to start reading. Also, you spelled inherently wrong, buddy. This statement also doesn't inherently mean these members have Otsutsuki level speed, strength, etc. It's just very broad.
Strength in Naruto can mean a multitude of things. For example, Deidara versus Sasori, that's a great debate. We actually do know Deidara has better feats than said Sasori, but Sasori actually has more of a hacks counter to Deidara. For example,
Sasori's just faster.
We're not going to comment on this. We're not going to comment on this. We're not going to comment on this.
Not affecting Sasori via having no lungs, or Sasori having unbeatable poison, which Deidara would have no counter to. So in Naruto, you can actually make some interpretation arguments in terms of stronger not being necessarily linear in terms of...
Paz, do I get the statement? Do I get the Kawaki statement?
No.
Okay.
No. We don't need it.
All their stats. This will become more clear later in the video, but I just kind of wanted to address that slightly. So let's get started. So starting off, Delta is an extremely powerful fighter, actually shown to be a match for adult Naruto in his Sage of...
Huh?
Okay.
The fact that he's starting with Delta makes me think Boro's gonna win.
I mean, he's spitting.
6 pounds.
He's spitting. Yeah, she's
now,
relative
this is actually
to.
presented as a back and forth with Delta gaining the edge initially, which isn't too relevant as we find out Naruto is simply acting like he lost to probe for more information.
Oh, he's saying only the initial scuffle where Delta... So far, he has claimed it is the initial scuffle that Delta seems to win that Naruto faked, and that is it. Let's see where...
No, he said that they're relative, but in the beginning it seemed like she was getting the edge.
Due to this, yeah.
Yeah.
Following this, they continue to engage, in which Kawaki notes how Naruto is actually controlling the flow of the battle, with Kawaki actually noting that if Naruto is Capable of redirecting the battle in this manner, his abilities should completely eclipse Delta's. From here we can actually see, despite Delta being a brawler able to tangle with a suppressed Naruto, Naruto is actually able to inflict battle-ending blows such as destroying her arms and legs with her.
Pause that. Okay, I have problems with that Kawaki statement, for one, of him being able to like even perceive this level of a fight. He should just be like base Boruto level from their fight earlier.
Kawaki having this level of perception doesn't mean anything. That it's totally fine, Paz. I know you hate this because you're Mr. Delta Stan, but it's fine that Kawaki can watch the fight.
No, even if he does watch the fight, it's fine for him to be misinterpreting it.
But there's no evidence to that.
Yes, there is.
Whatever.
Eclipse Deltas. From here we can actually see, despite Delta being a brawler able to tangle with a suppressed Naruto, Naruto is actually able
Naruto's
to
also not
battle-ending
suppressed.
blows such as
Naruto inflicting wounds doesn't matter, and I'll explain as to why.
He says these are battle inflicting wounds when they literally aren't.
You can't fight Delta with ninjutsu anyway. You have to fight her with taijutsu, or she'll just absorb your shit.
Granted,
or just regenerate.
She was not able to absorb them.
She didn't need to.
Okay.
Just destroying her arms and legs, with her having insane regenerative abilities, regenning them back. A side note here is that Kawaki actually notes that they would be no help in this battle, along with other statements in the series, such as Armando stating Naruto and Sasuke.
Amado.
Man, that was a butcher. Kashin Koji lacks down the power to take Ishiki. You two are the only ones who might have a chance. Now, I'm gonna be really like a dick here. Delta is asleep.
At this point in time?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Shikamaru.
I don't think Delta could take down Ishiki, but she is asleep. I also don't think Delta is like as strong as Naruto can output via his Rasengan or whatnot. But she does scale to his taijutsu. Naruto definitely has a better chance of taking out Ishiki.
Also, Delta has no interest in fighting Ishiki.
That as well.
Sasuke are the only chance against Ishiki. In this
also, Sasuke disagrees with the statement anyways.
More so cements the fact that the kids aren't too relative to the adults at their full strength. I'm sure I'll meet some form of contention there from the Boro fight, but I plan to address that in this video when I address Boro. So just be patient.
No, that makes me think he may like believe in Delta.
I'm interested.
As we continue with the Delta fight, we actually do discover Delta has a beam that actually ignores regenerative powers, making her somewhat of a counter.
Okay, this beam makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, I don't even know how do you even develop something like this? This is a chakra attack. This is a hacks that was made in the lab.
So, in Naruto, we know for a fact that regeneration happens via cell division in order to replicate what was lost.
Yes.
This is assisted by chakra. They can also, it's also stated that Kawaki is not doing that. That is not how Kawaki like makes his arm, right?
Yes, it is.
No, they state he is making new cells. Entirely new cells.
No, it's cellular division, is it not?
No. Even if
even
if you say all about this, right? And I'm wrong, and Kawaki's shit is cell division like Paz showed me. It doesn't affect Sakura because she makes new cells.
To Naruto, with these beams consistently being shot at Naruto.
You just had to throw the Sakura shit in there.
Yeah.
Side point to this fight is people attempt to debunk Naruto being FTL with these beams, which for one doesn't work, since you could simply argue that faster than light in Naruto is far faster than FTL in our world, or you would have to prove that this laser attack is actually a light beam attack and not just some random.
That's a bad argument, because you could also just argue that faster than light in Naruto is just like mad slower in Naruto than it is in our world.
Yeah, you should never make an uneducated claim or an inductive conclusion about why, like, those are not the same, but about why like a versus physics are different, because then that gets into like a level of scrutiny you don't want to be in.
Laser beam. And
against anyone good,
aren't always the same speed in fiction. For example, you have stormtrooper blasters that, if you made the same argument for this beam, would be FTL in Star Wars.
He's an idiot. In Legends, these are light speed.
Maybe you just haven't seen Legends.
In current Star Wars, these aren't light speed. That is true though.
Which obviously isn't the case. And a second note to that is that Naruto actually is shown reacting to this beam point blank prior, while actually beating the beam to his daughter, which can even be argued not to be full combat.
Pause it. This is a fatigue Naruto, by the way. Delta like actually fights Naruto to the point where he gets tired.
Regardless, it's a simple matter of preponderance of evidence, there being mountains of ways to say these characters are faster than Light and Shippuden, with this feat simply fitting into that.
There's only like 3 ways to say Naruto characters are faster than Light and Shippuden. Raikage, Darui, Mifune.
I mean Haku, but
that's not Shippuden.
Yeah, well, Haku does like pop up in Shippuden.
There are like 6 total ways to say that like Naruto characters light speed. 7 maybe. 8 actually.
Narrative. Moving on from here, Naruto is actually angered by Kawaki getting damaged by Delta. Naruto becomes angered, in which he attempts to overload Delta's chakra absorption in her eye.
By the way, this was a stupid fucking plan. I just want to say that.
In which he completely destroys Delta, ending the fight.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Dude, this didn't work.
Later explodes.
If this didn't work, Delta would have just been like supercharged and killed him.
Yeah.
Now, following Delta's body getting destroyed, she's revived by Armando, in which she's completely...
Bro.
That shit hurted.
Where's the R and N coming from?
Code, which a lot of people misinterpret, in my opinion. The statement is essentially the following.
Oh, he's spitting.
Code says that...
Let's give our interpretation of this. Hold on.
Okay.
Pause it.
The Borukara gives an interpretation of this, so we don't need to.
Yeah.
The Borukara...
All this says is that you're clearly no match for him, thus it's inevitably going to be up to me or Boro, right? For one, this doesn't even say that they both scale over. He just says, like, yeah, you couldn't do it, so we're probably going to have to do it. Which, as far as we know for Boro at least, he's got poison that, say if Boro and Delta were... Or, no, sorry. If Boro was switched out with Delta in the Naruto fight, and Naruto started in base, Naruto would have died. The poison would have just ended him.
So, if anyone doesn't know, the Borukara is literally just volume extras, right? This is what the Borukara has to say about Code's very statement. An inner who looks like a young man, according to himself, and when it comes to the inners, he possesses abilities that are at the same level as Boro's, but surpasses those of Delta's. Keyword abilities, not ability. What they're trying to say here is that Code and Boro are more suited to fit the Hokage than Delta was, because Delta's a brawler, Code and Boro are hacks.
For Naruto would fall to him or Boro. But the problem is, this doesn't inherently mean that Code or Boro are stronger than Delta. I believe it is more so presented that since you lost, me and Boro get a shot at fighting Naruto, which would be...
That's an awful interpretation.
Yeah. that was bad. You're on the right track though. Like,
correct conclusion.
I love that you don't think this means
very consistent, as they are very different fighters with very different hacks, as we see later on.
Okay.
I'm essentially saying that this statement does not directly indicate that Boro is greater than Delta in a conventional sense. It would just simply mean if the responsibility of fighting Naruto would fall to him as a different fighter, which we will find out later on in this video that is very supported. And this is very consistent because Boro as a character does have some wonky statements. For example, Kawaki states that in some ways Boro is worse than Jigen, when obviously Jigen has far superior stats. Unless you think Boro is greater than Jigen, it would just continue.
Boro over base Jigen is completely fine, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is like a fallacious. This is a fallacious argument from absurdity.
Yeah, what he's saying is
yeah, like or an argument from incredulity. Well, this statement can't be the case because I don't believe it to be. What the fuck? Thundergod.
Yeah.
We were just singing your praises. I need you to do better, buddy.
Continue with this narrative that
he's on the right track though. He just needs better arguments. Like, even just from like the last video to this one, he's got the right idea. He just needs better arguments.
Character and a very different fighter than Delta. And it should become clear at this point that there are differing interpretations for Code's statement instead of a simple power climb. So where does that actually leave Boro?
That was not evidence to your initial claim. He said, because someone else makes a statement that I disagree with about Boro, the initial statement is not the case. You have failed to substantiate your argument.
Boro, what can he do? Well, let's talk about it. So Boro in his fight with Team 7 is one of the main reasons I find Code's statement to not necessarily mean stronger. So let's dive into that. So starting off, we do know that Boro was waiting for Sasuke to come into this dimension to save Naruto, but that also doesn't inherently mean he would have beaten Sasuke, nor
Boro could probably beat Sasuke with poison.
Sasuke would have no choice but to engage in ninjutsu with Boro. Or taijutsu.
Yeah.
None.
Unless you think like Sasuke still has his poison resistance from Orochimaru, which shouldn't even be the case because I'm pretty sure Mitsuki says this can affect him. Then he should get nagged by poison. Also, if anyone wants to assert poison as a win con for against Delta, good luck proving she has organs or even like breathes. So, yeah.
The same with Boro.
nor would he have knowledge on all of Sasuke's techniques, similar to how Jigen wasn't necessarily prepared for Sasuke's Rinnegan abilities. So there's a decent chance that if Sasuke had
Jigen wasn't prepared for the Rinnegan?
No, he wasn't. Not in the initial fight, anyway. Remember, Sasuke kind of just shows up and kicks him.
Sasuke shows up and kicks him out of the portal that Jigen made because he didn't know.
No, I think Sasuke made that portal.
It's literally a portal that Jigen made because he's leaving.
No, I think No.
Sasuke comes out of the portal that Jigen opened.
I think that Sasuke opened it in the first place. Because if you notice, Jigen has his arms balled up, and when you summon a Karma Rift, you have to have your fist open.
That's because he had already summoned it.
No, the portal's not there. This is clearly a new portal.
I'm saying by the time he's walking into it, he had already summoned it.
No, I think he's turning around to summon one, and Sasuke already summoned it and kicks him.
appeared, Boro would have just lost. Waiting for a fighter would not mean you're as strong as that fighter. It would just...
No, it would mean that you believe you can keep your like objective out of harm's way.
Yeah.
Wait, this has always been my argument. I don't think he's going to be able to like address this. This has always been my argument for why Boro and Code have to scale. If their objective is to play keep away with the Jubi and Naruto respectively, they must be expected to keep away. In order to be able to keep away, they can't get speed blitzed.
I disagree with that.
Boro's poison only works as long as he is alive.
Yeah.
Boro is alive only as long as he can
Sasuke
keep his...
engages people. Well, the way Sasuke engages people with like taijutsu and whatnot, at least from what Jigen has seen, would definitely like fit the combat style of at least Boro. I don't know about Code.
Yeah,
also,
I think Boro would hard counter if Sasuke
saw...
didn't have a Sharingan. That's the issue.
No, I don't care about taijutsu. I'm just saying, like, whenever the poison comes out, Sasuke's gonna die.
I'm saying the poison doesn't come out if Sasuke sees the core, stabs it, and kills Boro.
He has to see the core move. He's not just gonna see the core. Sarada couldn't even do that.
One, Sasuke has much better perception than Sarada.
There would be no way to demonstrate that.
Via his Rinnegan?
There's no way to demonstrate the Rinnegan gives increased perception.
We're going cap.
That and the last time Jigen saw Sasuke, he was literally like on the floor, almost dead. So
yeah, that's the real debunk to my
power
argument.
Sasuke.
Because Boro's regeneration and his abilities only work so long as he is able to react to where your attack is coming from and stop you. Or move it, excuse me. The real debunk is Sasuke should be fucking leaking right now.
Think you're as strong as that fighter, which, you know, Boro would not have the evidence to support the fact that he would be as strong as Sasuke.
That was an argument from ignorance. Congratulations.
And if you want to argue that maybe the Kara clan would know all of their abilities, you can just look at Delta versus Naruto to kind of get an idea that Delta was unaware of a bunch of Naruto's abilities. For example,
Yeah, because that's the first time Kara ever fought Naruto. The difference now is that Delta watched the entire fight. All of it. Delta's drone watched all of the Naruto fight.
Her consciousness.
Huh?
Yeah. It uploads her consciousness into the other clones as well.
Yeah. Delta now has full knowledge on Naruto's abilities. Presumably, as does Amato, and therefore the rest of Kara.
He's regeneration and almost limitless supply of chakra. From here, we have Sarada, Boruto, Kawaki, and Mutsuki face off against Boro. So it actually should be noted that Boro's whole fighting style revolves around a virus he releases into the air, paralyzing his opponents.
Boro's got Rona.
Boro's more so the type of fighter who simply tank attacks while his mist goes to work, changing the environment. This is further cemented by him having liquid acid attacks. Basically, Boro has a corrosive arsenal, if you would. Following this, we actually find...
You're not funny, bro. Just start spitting facts. I'm sorry, that shit was not funny.
Now, Boro is actually quite slow, getting blitzed by Shidori amped Sarada.
That is not in any way an anti-feat.
Name one person who's dodged a Chidori. Pass?
Chidori from Sarada, because you know it's stated you can like control Pain. But you know it's like you can control
Pain didn't dodge. No. Pain interrupted
Kakashi's
chakra.
No, he dodged it from Kakashi first, and he also interrupted one.
Whack.
Kakuzu also did, basically. Anyway. He also should have used the scan where Sarada just straight up says he's not that fast.
He's not that fast, yeah.
Along with her noting how he is very slow just from her running away from him.
Oh.
I just noticed something. Man's got a Viz membership. Good on you, Thundergod. Let's go.
It's here where the Boro greater than Delta off the code statement doesn't really work because...
No. This is again a fallacious reductio ad absurdum. You fail to say as to why these things cannot be the case.
You have some contradictions.
Well, he does assert earlier that like
Naruto
and Sasuke are strongest in the village.
For starters, Kawaki and Boruto actually being able to combat and do decent against Boro, whereas against Delta they both know how they are no help in this fight.
Both Kawaki and Boruto get stronger.
That's not true.
By proxy of their karma resonating together?
And you cannot prove it went to a higher stage.
I never said it did.
Okay, so then how did they get stronger?
Because their karma is resonating. Oh my.
Yes. Oh
Hi, my name's...
That's literally circular.
My name's Pat. No, because you asked me multiple questions. Whatever. My name's Paz. I disagree on fundamental parts of the verse.
With no room for them to even jump in.
Why is that funny?
There's also both of these fighters with their karma marks making these statements. So it's not consistent in that regard, and for the fact that if you go down this line of reasoning that there's also both of these fighters with their karma marks making these statements. So it's not consistent in that regard, and for the fact that if you go down this line of reasoning that Boro is stronger in every sense to Delta, then Sarada would be above Hokage Naruto.
And?
Yeah, you gotta explain why that's a problem, big dog. I'm sure you can, but you should have done it in the video. If you do, like we've been saying, you haven't done stuff and then you do it afterwards, because we keep constantly pausing the video because, you know, we just want to talk shit,
which is further cemented to be false based off the Armando statement. I just realized I was mispronouncing his name like after
this nigga spitting
recording for 7 minutes, so please leave me alone in the comments. I know I threw an R in there. Amato, thank you. I feel as if I made it clear why Boro is more so just a different fighter than Delta and not necessarily a complete superior.
Okay, he says Sarada over Sarada under Naruto by proxy of the Amato statement. Why does he presuppose that Amato has like this knowledge? You know what? I'll let him. I'll let him get away with it.
As if he was, we wouldn't have all these contradictions in his actual fight. It should be noted that the Karma Seal shouldn't absorb the virus, or couldn't absorb the virus in the air, leading to the possible conclusion that Sasuke couldn't with his Rinnegan as well, which would add to this Boro waiting for Sasuke.
Sasuke got wind style, my guy.
Also, To
said
add to
whoosh.
or to tell you what this guy should have done, rather than saying like, well, yeah, Boro's just a different fighter, and he's got feats that are
built
contradictory
different.
to the Hokage Naruto skeleton, right? All you have to say is that this is in reference to abilities or offer the separate interpretation, and then just ask your opponent to demonstrate that it's referring to stats. They just can't do it.
Grant, that's if you're debating. Thundergod did good here. He's making an informative video, and thus tries to display the reasoning as to why both sides could be the case, and then give a conclusion based on his own knowledge. Thundergod, don't let Paz criticize you.
Or possibly thinking he
Thundergod,
could beat this
keep in
aspect.
mind. Keep
Now
in
we
mind,
discuss
you
that.
could have just
Who
made
would
this
win
video
if
a lot
Delta and
shorter.
Boro fought? Well, we
Yeah.
essentially have a faster and stronger brawler who can regenerate and absorb jutsu versus a fighter who isn't nearly as fast but is far more hacksy in the fact of him having a virus that can't be absorbed and paralyzes upon impact.
No, it doesn't.
So this fight can go a number of ways, but we actually see prior that
No, it can't.
Boro can actually phase through Delta's attacks.
This is a hologram.
Okay, for anyone who doesn't know, Boro is not in the room in this scene. All of the Kara members,
Chapter 34.
Chapter 34, all of the Kara members have the ability. No, I don't want to go to this one. I want to go to where he like kills. Yeah, this is a hologram, and Boro like disappears.
Oh, you mean when they like hologram into the Genjutsu transmission?
Yes, whenever he kills Victor. So, as you can see in chapter 16, page number 10 and 11, right?
There.
This is a form of hologram genjutsu, a genjutsu transmission, right? As said by Victor, or Vicor, depending on how you want to pronounce his name. He is not physically present in this room at all. Bro, imagine if we said every member of Kara could do that. They can just phase through shit. Actually,
I know, right? Like,
if you believe that Boro phased through Delta, right here, that means Boro can react to enrage Delta's attacks, which means Boro should win the fight. I'm so mad.
Yeah.
Possibly implying he enters a translucent-like state in which you can say Delta's
Translucent means see-through.
physical attacks wouldn't have worked unless she was more than likely at max speed, which is more than likely
At max speed? Why is she not at max speed? Oh my god. He did so well for 8 minutes, Paths.
It was more like 7 minutes 40 seconds, but yeah.
He's crumbling. Okay, it's completely unfounded to say that Delta is not at max speed, right? You're wrong. Boro doesn't dodge this. Boro's not there. He put Delta in a Genjutsu. Which, if you want to say, okay, Genjutsu transmission is a win con, since all the Kara members can put each other under Genjutsu, sure, if we knew how that worked, but we don't.
They can all leave it at will, though.
Yes. You could also get kicked out of it. Okay, let's keep going.
Keep going.
her being a rival to Naruto. This scene is more so implied to be her just randomly swinging at Boro.
By what?
A good comparison, I guess you could say, would be Sasori versus Deidara, in the fact that Sasori
By what? Why is this her just randomly swinging at Boro all in a funny way?
actually just randomly swings his tail at Deidara to try and kill him or
No, the Akatsuki members actually wanted to kill each other all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's implied like Deidara like heavily respects Sasori, but the inverse is not implied.
Sasori like finds Deidara's ideals of art annoying.
run him away. There's also the question of if she can absorb the virus with her eye, which is
No,
No.
it's not chakra based.
questionable since she doesn't have a conventional body. Although we do know it was able to affect Kawaki, who also doesn't have a conventional body.
Kawaki was born a human. You cannot
Yeah,
prove that the
Kawaki's
same
got a
is so for
ninja
Delta.
toe body.
But he was
He's got
born a
ninja
human.
toe body.
The
Yeah.
difference is
I was just saying he's got a ninja toe body, but yeah, I mean, so
Kawaki is what we would call a cyborg, right? Part human, part person. Or part human, part robot. For all we know, Delta is an android, which is a robot that looks like a human. I may be getting that slightly wrong.
Body, so we could assume that it would work on Delta as
No, we can't.
well. There's also the question of if Delta shot
By the way, that was another argument from ignorance. You're welcome.
Boro with her regen negging beams, how would he deal with that? And it would certainly be effective, especially if the techniques are somewhat relative to her actual combat speed.
they aren't.
I think the
they're
laser's
much
slow as
slower, but
shit.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions up
Like-
in the air, but overall, I would probably give it to Delta just for her superior.
He's spitting. He's spitting. No,
Great
you
conclusion.
dropped the ball for
Wrong
a solid
reason.
or for a solid minute and a half. But
Do you think that if we were to take the Genjutsu transmission feat as Boro just like outright being able to like become a transmission, right?
yeah,
I don't think you can any longer give Delta the win.
no, you really can't.
Her tits look great in this fan art.
Light beams, laser beams, their cellular regen negging GG beams would in fact affect Boro
No, because they're slow as shit.
very greatly. So overall,
Yes, they
I would
would.
give it to
She
Delta
just beat him up
due
and
to
then
her
hit him with him.
superior stats, you know, in terms of speed and
Paz, how's she gonna beat him up? He'll just turn translucent.
her actually having a counter to Boro. You could possibly make a case with Boro winning off him paralyzing her. However, we do see that the
That can't happen.
paralyzation isn't necessarily immediate, with it taking time to fully paralyze certain fighters. So if
Didn't he
Delta
say
sticks
he did it
around
on
long
Impact
enough, she'll
earlier?
Probably be
Yeah.
able to take him on, and his translucent form with him actually being able to somewhat phase through physical attacks
Translucent
only
again.
really imply with people who are slower than himself, as it doesn't really work
What?
He's saying it only applies to
What?
people slower than himself, but says it worked on Delta.
Who is faster than him?
Yeah.
for Team 7. And if you give Boro
His reason... Okay, according to Thundergod logic, Sarada over Delta relative to Hokage Naruto, but Sarada over Hokage Naruto can't happen because of the Yamato statement. And the Yamato statement is true. Why did he say it was true?
I don't think he gave a reason.
Okay.
greater stats than Delta, you essentially have this wonky narrative of the kids being way stronger than the adults, which is just contradictory.
That's the narrative of Boruto, that the kids are way stronger than the adults, actually.
No, it. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll let that
The-
one slide.
The entire point of Boruto and, like, late Shippuden was that the next generation will always surpass the original.
Yes, not that they have already.
Not that they have, of course, but that they will. So, a narrative argument falls short.
In its own fights and statements. Obviously, in a debate sense, anything really goes, but I'm just talking, you know, very ground and
The
Well, actually,
opposite
it-
is true in the debate.
Actually, in
sense.
a debate sense, half of this doesn't go. All right. Let's see. I think Thundergod's got one more video for us.
for our Gara. That's pretty much what we're both going to debate here.
Okay, so as Prime Soccer Retard, I'm gonna give you the handy dandy debunk to everything he says here.
Okay, so essentially, like here's the line of reasoning for why she should. Essentially, all her feats stem off of Tsunade, in the fact that she.
You're an awful soccer retard if you think this.
Jesus Christ, man, I just wasn't prepared.
Paz, do I keep going?
No, in the video here. Thanks everyone. Like and subscribe.
Kill me.